Let's go ahead.
Our mission, Helping Parents Heal, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting parents whose children have passed. Through support and resources offered, we aspire to help individuals become shining light parents, meaning a shift from a state of emotional heaviness to one of hopefulness and greater peace of mind. HPH goes a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and afterlife evidence in a non-dogmatic way. Helping Parents Heal affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background, and encourage open dialogue. Attendance at this meeting is voluntary. We hope the participants will learn from and share with each other. Discussions here are confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Zoom meetings run by leadership are not confidential. These meetings typically feature guest presenters and are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members worldwide can watch and benefit. Neither type of HPH meeting is designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers, allowing parents to learn about many possible ways to heal. This includes presenters covering progressive topics such as afterlife evidence and connecting with children who have passed. The views expressed by our guest speakers may or may not reflect the opinions of Helping Parents Heal leaders and members, so we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Lisa. That was beautifully read. And I just want to say that this kind of meeting is one of my favorites because being able to show parents about how these things happen is one of the most instructive ways to be able to have people be able to experience this themselves, because I know that the things that Jeff was experiencing through Lisa, through Warren, and his obviously through our kids more than anything, through Sean, through through Nolan, as well as through Austin. All of this is something that all of us are able to do as well, and we just don't know it yet. And so being able to hear these stories allows us to better understand what we need to do to communicate and connect with our children. One of the best parts about this is that Rick Wilcoxson, who of course just put out our incredible third conference video, which is just absolutely beautiful. But he is the person responsible for being able to put all of these pieces together and to make them understandable to the naked eye, I guess. But Lisa will explain more about what happened with Jeff at this dad's retreat. Jeff Cottrell is one of our wonderful Helping Fathers Heal affiliate leaders. Lisa Wilcoxson obviously is an affiliate leader. She's also a caring listener, and she's also a medium that is certified by Mark Ireland, who works with Helping Parents Heal. She's also a very good friend. And then Rick is her wonderful husband who goes around and helps with everything. He takes pictures at the conference. He's also really good at being able to put video together. So anyway, this story is definitely worth being told. And I am so excited that all of you are here to hear it. So I'm going to pass this over first to Lisa to tell us a little bit more about what happened.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And it's my honor as well. As all of us know, whenever we gather, wherever it is, whether it's in a coffee shop or one of our conferences with 1,000 people, our kids are simply magical, and they show us that. And I had the great honor of being invited to work with the fathers at their little mini retreat they had at the Sheraton Wild Horse Pass last August. And while I was there, it was my turn to do a presentation and do some readings for the dads. And I had given this some forethought. And I thought, I know the story I need to tell because it's the story of not only the magic of our kids, but the science of all of this, the truth of all of it, and how our kids can come together to really make something spectacular occur. And I just love this story. So it started out actually at the conference in 2024. If you went to that conference, you may recall um, my stepson was doing some videos of people's tattoos in a little alcove. And Rick was doing interviews of the presenters in a room behind that alcove. After everyone left the conference center, we were all so exhausted. I was waiting for Rick to come and get all his equipment. And I sat down on a bench. I was the only one in the conference in that whole area. And as I sat down on the bench, about 6 feet in front of me was a planter, and it was about a 4 foot tall planter with a huge bush in it. And I was just kind of gazing at this bush in exhaustion, and all of a sudden, objectively, now objective seeing is different than clairvoyant seeing. Clairvoyant seeing is when you see something in your mind's eye. Objectively is just like I'm holding this card in my hand or a pencil. You can see it outside of yourself. Within this bush, literally a face manifested. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think that's Nolan. That's Nolan. Wow. And he just looked at me and smiled. And clairaudiently, I heard it was about his hair and his mustache and how happy he was, how peaceful he was. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. And so it was some time because I'm a medium. I don't reach out to people for reasons Cressida knows, but that's another story. Anyway, I just kept being bugged that I needed to call and talk to, I don't know what just changed on my view here, I'm sorry, that I needed to call and talk to Warren. So I called him and I said, hey, I just need to tell you and Sheila this experience I had. Nolan manifested in front of me and he just had this incredible smile. And I said, I need to tell Sheila too. And I said, but he looked so different. He looked like he was maybe, gosh, 20, 21 years old. His hair was longer and he had a little bit of a mustache and he was so happy. And Sheila said, oh, Lisa, I don't know. That doesn't sound like my Nolan. And I said, well, I don't know what to tell you. This is what she was showing me. And she said, Lisa, Nolan, when he started getting facial hair, he said, Mommy, what is this? I don't want this. And so we laughed and we just had fun with it. Well, come maybe another month or so after that, maybe two, I had never met Sean Ryan. I had heard about Sean Ryan, but I've never seen a photograph of him. And they had, Sin and Chris had posted a picture of Sean. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's who I saw. That's who was in the plant. And so I'm really not close with Sean. Sin's in the group that Irene and I do for parents whose only child or all their children have crossed. And so I know Sin a little bit, but I decided I would wait. And at this father's retreat, I just knew I needed to tell this story. So as I was explaining it to Rick, I said, can you put together a little video for me so I can explain to the guys how I saw this? And so, Rick, if you could pull up the video, when it was my turn to speak at the father's retreat, I walked in the room and this is what I presented to them. And as you're watching this, I was explaining the story. You can go ahead and start now, Rick. And this isn't exact, but Rick did a beautiful job. I saw it, as I said, objectively. I saw Nolan, and it literally looked so much like Nolan to me. And I know Nolan was there because I felt his energy. And then I learned that this was Chris. This was actually Chris Ryan I was seeing. So as I was sharing the story about how this is vibration and frequency, and our children are able to literally appear through these electromagnetic fields, and how objective seeing works, something really incredible happened right after that. And that's where I'll let Jeff take over the story from there.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, so as Lisa was saying with her story, it was just so interesting. It was the first time that I'd really heard about that phenomena. how that can work. And the next morning, so we were in Arizona. My cousin lives in Arizona, and another coincidence, she had just been in Wisconsin where I live, and we failed to connect. There was just a series of when we were free, she wasn't. When she was free, we weren't, and we just weren't able to connect. So when I went out to the dad's retreat, I texted her and said, I'm so sorry we didn't get to meet up when you were back home. Is there an opportunity we could meet? And so we set up plans to meet for breakfast the next morning. So we're just sitting at the hotel, and she was asking, what we're doing at the retreat, what we're talking about. I said, well, I need to tell you this, what we did yesterday, and told her about Lisa's story and what she presented. And her face was just like, oh my God. She goes, I have a picture I have to share with you. And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, we have this picture. Um, Many of our family members had seen this picture, and they decided not to share it with us. They didn't know if it would upset us or anything, but this picture they had for almost 3 years, and we had never seen it. And she goes, we have a picture that came from a trail camera, which was out in the woods from one of my other cousin's friends. And this image looks just like Austin. So Rick, I don't know if you want to pull up the first picture. So this is the trail camera picture. So you can see it was just a picture with a dark image up in a tree, and it was taken, you can see, on September 21st, 2022. And this happened to be taken. So my other cousin's husband was at work, and it was his friend, who's also a Jeff. It was his trail camera, and he was showing it. And my cousin's husband said, can you zoom in on that image? They thought it might be a bear or something. So she goes, we zoomed in on the picture, and this is what we saw. Rick, could you go to the next one?
Yeah, let me,
So when they zoomed in on it, and again, many of you don't know what my son Austin looks like, but when we looked at it, she showed me this picture. She goes, I circled it. It looks just like your son Austin with his glasses, how his hair, he's got that little widow's peak in front. And like when I looked at it, I immediately saw him, got the goosebumps, and I'm like, oh my Lord, that's Austin. And sent it to my wife right away, and she's like, "Oh my God, it's Austin!" Our kids saw Austin. All the dads at home, we all saw him right away, and it wasn't one of those pictures where you have to, if you hold your head this way and hold the phone just right. I mean, it was a picture of our son. So as we went through, again, it gave me goosebumps, and I was talking to everyone, showing everyone, everyone believed it. And Rick was talking to me. He's like, well, I can see how this, you're really excited about this picture and this sign from Austin. He goes, would you have another picture? He goes, I could put a little video together of this picture and blend it in with Austin. So we're going to roll the video here in a second. So I sent Rick a picture, and I sent him a different picture first, where you could see just Austin, where he's not wearing a hat. His hair is just like the picture, his glasses, and that's the picture that first popped in my mind. And Rick and we were talking a little more about it, and Rick goes, do you have a graduation picture? He goes, I'm seeing him in a cap and gown there. And so we've got another picture, and you'll see it. Why don't we play the video first, and then I'll add a little more dialogue after that. So again, this is the trail camera picture, and then this is the video that Rick put together for us.
Ooh, goosebumps.
So the picture on the right was the first picture I sent him, where you see the hair, like the photo, the glasses, And then the one on the left is Austin in his cap and gown for his college graduation. Now, the other thing significant about that picture with Austin in his cap and gown there, that was on December 15th, 2018. And Austin passed on December 15th, 2019. That was exactly a year to the date from that picture. And on my phone, it's actually the last family picture that I have of the five of us, with my wife Nan, my son Kevin, my daughter Bailey, and Austin, of course, in the middle. So again, it was just goosebumps to get that picture. Um, so when Rick offered to make that video, um, I was like, absolutely. So that's just a treasure to have. And then there's actually a few more layers to this. Rick, could you go back to just the original trail camera picture? So
This one or the zoomed in one?
that one's fine. So the only other thing, and I added one more level to this, what set off the trail camera was ravens. And I thought for sure we have another Jeff working with us, the Jeff and Lynn Hallahan's son, Devin. I think he might have had a hand in this picture as well. So, but it was just the coincidence of never hearing of this phenomenon, just talking about it the night before, a chance meeting with my cousin the next morning, talking about that meeting that we had the night before, and then her sharing this picture with us and going to that. It was just a really, really incredible story. So the next level I have is again, it really moved me to get this. So we ended up having a group chat that night. We had a lot of chats in the retreat, but one of the dads in the group, CT Crocker, was sharing a story about the 2024 conference. And he showed a video of Mark Anthony talking about spiritual synchronicities. And he showed a clip from the 2024 conference where they had a light circle. And Chris decided to go to that light circle. And Mark was bringing spirit through. And he ended up talking. He goes, someone here has a video of their child and them in a car going down a highway. Well, Chris had this video. So he played it. And it was he and his son going down a California highway around a curve. And it was like the last video they had. And he showed the video to the group. And a lady in the group gasped. And it turned out she happened to be in the same group, the same light circle, and her son passed on that highway at the exact curve that he was showing the video in the light circle. So it was just another spiritual synchronicity. So when he shared that, I decided to reach out to Mark and share this video and this story that Rick had put together for me. And he was amazed with it. He said that, it was a spiritual synchronicity, but he also called it a frequency beacon. And that's where spirit's able to direct your attention to a particular thing or place. And Austin was able to direct people, to this image, to share this with us at the right moment. And then he also talked about the EMS, the electromagnetic soul, and how they can manifest their energy to appear as, something that can be photographed. And he was really, really jacked about this too, and wants to write a future article on this with frequency beacons and spiritual synchronicities. So that was pretty neat. But then I've got one more picture to share as well. That Mark just happened to email me back. And he said he and Rocky were driving down the highway they were at the IANS conference in Chicago. And they were talking about Austin and this story. And he said they looked up and this was the next exit that they went by on the highway. And he emailed that to me. He said, I just had to share this with you, that Austin had to give us a sign as well. So that was pretty neat. So it was just kind of a series of events that just powerful signs from the retreat.
This is absolutely amazing. And I just want to say that one of the things that is so exciting is that you have all come together to be able to understand these signs. And obviously, just seeing Austin Boulevard at some point in your life and seeing that exit wouldn't mean anything necessarily, but to have it pop up right when they were talking about you um, is so exciting. I also think that this video that Chris had shown during the light circle is just an amazing thing. But I really want to say that, Rick, you're just so talented being able to morph these images into pictures the way that you do. It's just so beautiful. And I think that a lot of us have these kinds of things happen frequently in our lives, but we don't necessarily, first of all, recognize them right away. And then second of all, sometimes we don't believe that they could ever do this kind of thing. But Lisa, I know that this is something that's scientifically a phenomenon, and I would love to have you talk a little bit about this to everyone because it is so exciting.
I would love to. And as we all like to teach, this is something open to all of us, as Mark Anthony shared with Jeff about the electromagnetic soul. I love Mark, how he coins all these incredible phrases. What it is this is objective viewing. I had the same thing with my own son at one time. I heard, Mom, I'm fishing with my dad. And I called my ex-husband and got a photograph of him out fishing. But what he didn't know I could see so clearly was in the ocean waves. It was like Anthony's face was right there. I know many of us have seen clouds that look like our child, or we can see our child's picture in really anything. And what this is, it's, whether it's through a flash of light, a shimmer, a presence, or a form, we're tuning into a higher vibrational frequency. And in this viewing, everything in the universe, including spirit, is made of energy, and it's all vibrating at different frequencies. We've heard many, many Helping Parents Heal speakers talking about how we have to raise our vibration, and they need to lower their vibration, and we kind of meet in the middle. But I love that the analogy of time and space and quantum physics and how it folds into itself. How did our kids know to hold on to that picture and not have Jeff's cousin present it to him until then? How does all this work? It's just so magical. But really, there's a lot of science to it as well. So the overlap in vibration is often experienced as sparkles of light or mist, shifting into outlines or orbs, a feeling of pressure or warmth, which is not objective, but it can feel objective. There's times, I'm sure all of us have literally felt a touch and look, what was that? Light anomalies, changes in color or brightness, where the lights dim and then they come back up. Now, the electromagnetic component of this is scientifically measurable via EEGs and MEGs, which is interesting because many of you talked to me about the telepathy tapes, and you know that my son Michael was very severely handicapped. And as I've told you before, this is where I developed my clairs, was the 12 years I had with him. So the human nervous system and brain emit weak electromagnetic fields, but as I said, they are measurable. Certain states, meditation, deep emotion, and even grief can alter our brainwave activity and heighten sensitivity to subtle electromagnetic variations. Now, this is kind of an important point because at this retreat, just before I was to go and do readings for the guys, I know Elizabeth has had Corey on, I believe with Cody. And Corey, I don't know which Corey's which Corey, that's in the guys group, but there was Dad Corey and Son Corey, and they watched a movie that is an incredibly beautiful, beautiful movie that Corey has produced and directed about his brother and his brother's crossing. And it's not a I'll just say spiritual. I mean, it's spiritual, it's beautiful, it's beautifully done. I recommend, anybody watch it. However, it's not what I like to call our looking at the greater picture, what we do in this group. And so when I walked into the room, they had literally just finished that movie. And I see a lot of dads here, so you remember that. And so I started doing the readings, and it was like, oh my God, what's happening here? And I thought, this is just really tough. And this is where I learned a very important lesson, because I always tell people, I don't believe grief blocks us. I've always said that. And I saw differently, because when I walked in that room, so many of you guys were crying. So many of you guys, I could tell even your body language, you were just moving around, had just experienced something so difficult. And I think Jeff put it so beautifully when he came up to me the next morning and he said, you know what? I wrote down everything you said, and I could place all of this, and so many people did. And Jeff said, you know what? Our kids were transmitting, we just weren't receiving. And that's such an important part. And that's why when Elizabeth and Irene do all these things, and I see Kathy on here too, who's a beautiful teacher as well. When we say you really do have to try and raise your vibration, this is why. Because it's almost like it puts a film or a cloud over something where we're either three-dimensional or we're multi-dimensional. So going back to these states that can alter our brainwave activities and heighten or lower our electromagnetic variations in our fields, we need to really be careful of that. And that's why it's important to take a walk if you need to. Take a shower, sing a song, gosh, grab your wife and do a dance in the kitchen, anything that will raise your vibration. So back to these electromagnetic field interactions and the sudden shifts in local EM fields detected by the pineal gland or the retina. There's also photon emissions. Some researchers study biophotons, which is faint light emissions from living tissue, which could relate to the phenomena seen during spirit encounters. And we all love Mark Anthony. He'll be presenting again, thanks to Elizabeth and Irene, at the next conference in 2026. He can explain the rods in our eyes. Dr. Schwartz also explains the science of all of this. The quantum entanglement hypothesis suggests consciousness and energy remain interconnected beyond physical death. And many of us have seen those videos too, that say, there's one Instagram reel I keep seeing about a leaf, and they cut the leaf, so half of the leaf is gone, but then they go to put it under this electromagnetic, almost like an X-ray, and you can see the entire outline of the leaf. And also know, this is another thing, nature holds this vibration. This is why Austin was seen in the tree. This is why when I saw Nolan and Chris, and I do know it was both of them, because it took all these kids. It took all of them to bring this to happen so Austin's family could have this experience. The
That's
perception.
beautiful. Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that yes, they work together to be able to get these messages to us. And especially at a retreat like the dad's retreat, when there were so many kids that were all in the same room together, they work so hard to be able to help their dads as well as their moms know that they're still right here. And I interrupted you, but I think
That's
it's
okay. I think it's a good point here for me to just kind of be quiet, and maybe Kathy and I, at a later date, we can teach a module on this, because at Jeff's request, did a lot of research on it and did find out a lot. And it's easy for me to say, well, it's just woo-woo and magic and it just happens. But there really is science to it because I don't need the science. I'm a heart girl. But I know there's some people that are like, but how? But why? And Jeff was asking me so many questions and I was trying to explain. But what I would really love, Elizabeth, and it's certainly up to you, is I do see so many dads here. I would just love to hear a little bit about some experiences some of you had at the retreat. I know Joe's here. He had experiences. Chris, Martin, there were just so many. It's always magic whenever we gather. And like I said at the beginning, even if it's at a coffee shop, our kids already know they're already there and they want to show us that they're okay.
That would be wonderful. So would Joe like to start, or Chris? Or Chris is now a new affiliate leader of Helping Fathers Heal, but he's also the affiliate leader, co-affiliate leader of Helping Fathers Heal Bonus Dads, which is wonderful. And we're very grateful to have him on here as well. I just asked Joe, though. Joe, would you like to unmute and say something? Are you not having any
I think
success?
he's trying. Hold on. Let me hit the ask to unmute button.
Okay, I have two. That's interesting. We had somebody the other night that wasn't able to unmute even though they were trying very desperately. And
I'll add something while we're trying to work out his, if you don't mind, while we're trying to work out his microphone. Because being at that retreat and then Jeff telling this story, it was amazing to me that he got this, or it started 3 years prior with his cousin and the people that are hunting and looking at this. It had nothing to do with anything that we were doing at the retreat, had nothing to do with anyone. And they got the sense that that image was their son or their cousin. I'm sorry. That it was amazing. And for 3 years they held on to it. And then the way it came out, Lisa was not real happy with my video that I prepared. I was trying to help her with it. And she said, that's not what it was like. That's not what it was like, because I saw it more clear. And I don't do what she does. And I was trying to make a video of it. Well, it turns out that video kind of put Jeff in the place that he recognized or made that connection, made the connection with the video that her cousin had. And those are the things that I don't have any explanation for. Don't know how it works, but there's something 3 years in the running that all those people involved, and then culminating with Mark Anthony's conversation going past Austin Austin exit. Anyway, that looks like Joe's got his mic up there. So
yes, I think I made him a co-host, so hopefully he can speak now.
Okay, I can speak. Thank you, you guys. So how are you guys doing?
Great.
Yeah, nice wrist. So Lisa, I think we spoke about a lot of things. I know a lot of things happened that weekend, specifically with me, but I don't know if you had something in mind. I don't know if it was when you were doing your woo-woo about all my
No, just about your experience in general at the dad's gathering and the other retreat, all the retreats.
Well, so I was talking, so I've known Reverend Sue for a long time, and she made me stand up in front of everybody, which I don't like doing. And she started talking about how all these fathers are like Navy SEALs, and I think it was Sue. And and afterwards I asked her, because that day I'd been asked to get involved with the Navy SEALs, and I said, why did you say that? You'd never even heard you reference SEALs before. And she goes, I have no idea. It just came to me. And as I said it, I was wondering why I was saying it. And it was that day, that weekend, that I was deciding whether to join this board or not. And made a decision to do it just based on that, because
I have to say really quickly, Sue Frederick just texted me this thing.
Me too. I know. Me too. I got it
of
too.
Navy SEAls. Healing Trauma from Psychedelic Therapy documentary on Netflix and Waves of War. So
We all just got this text.
just exactly at the minute that you started talking about this. So this is one of those things, obviously, and Lisa too. That is, I'm
I
glad you
got
got
it
the
too.
same thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people would think I'm just making it up, but we're not making it up.
All right, well, I didn't get the text, but I don't need it because you guys are reinforcing it right now.
We're gonna read it though, or watch it.
It's something that she's producing?
No, she's
So,
showing about the Navy SEALs and the psychedelics. I'm not exactly sure, but
I'll text it to you,
in
Joe.
Waves and War. So sorry about that. I just
No, that's fine. That's great. So that was the main thing that I mean, there was so many things. Even the next day, I'm sitting there and Lisa's picking on me about, we're just sitting at a table with a bunch, I don't know who was there, and she was asking me about this drawer full of pens that I have. And I was like, who told you that? And I do have a drawer full of pens. And she started naming the names on the pens, like restaurants. And it was just kind of funny. I don't know why Lisa was just picking on me about something because we were bored or something. But I do have a drawer full of pens. And so you never know when anybody's I have no idea what that has to do with anything other than Lisa wanted to pick on me. So.
well, being able to do remote viewing is something that's a big deal when you're a medium. Obviously, that's amazing that she can do that. And what a great story. That is just hysterical, though, Joe, because her texts were coming in, and I was thinking, how interesting. And then all of a sudden, this thing about Navy SEALs came in right as you're saying it. So, again, I'm glad that it happened to Lisa as well.
And I'd love to hear Chris talk. I hung out with Chris
Yes.
most of the time there. I wore Levi's shirt one day, and Chris will wear a Navy SEAL hat that I gave him. That's kind of cool. So, all right.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Joe.
I'll defer to Chris.
And Chris.
Oh,
Can't
thank
wait to
you.
hear.
Yeah, I'm not wearing a different hat tonight, but yeah, actually, some experiences I had at the conference or retreat just kind of all came to fruition this last week. Some of which, so it started off when Farah came on Thursday. Before she came, I'd written down in my notebook for some reason, your effing kid. And about halfway through her reading, she was really hot in the room and she took a break. She came back, and right when she came back, she looked right at me and said, your expletive kid, won't leave me alone or whatever. And she went into this big thing about this hunting trip. Well, my surviving son, Judd, used to be pretty into hunting, but hasn't hunted in years. And he had mentioned that he might want to hunt this year, but we really hadn't made any decisions. Well, Farah just went all into this whole hunting trip about how, what we were hunting for elk, and that he wasn't going to be roughing it. He'd be sleeping in his own bed, and it was difficult tags to get and all this stuff. And so then the next day was Lisa. And with Lisa, she just was, the only thing she really mentioned about Levi is that he was kind of flying around with he had Vans shoes on. Like, that was the one thing she said that, it was very clear. He had Vans with wings on them. And then the third day, which is something I didn't pick up on at all with Jennifer, was she kept bringing up, and I knew she was talking about me because I'd gotten really sick at the retreat, and she kept talking about these digestive issues and stuff. And she kept talking about an uncle in Virginia. Well, so long story short, Judd, opening day of elk season, ended up getting a big bull elk. And turns out, so all the stuff Farah said was validated. He used his biological father's uncle's gun to shoot the elk. which is, I think, what Jennifer was bringing through. And then the funniest part about the whole thing is that, and it was afternoon and we're going out there and I'm like, really, dude, you're wearing your Vans? Like, you're not going to wear your hiking boots or hunting boots? And so sure enough, this whole thing went down and he ran up the mountainside in his untied Vans and shot the elk. So yeah, it was, all of that was validated, but it was really just a great weekend and great experience. It was really nice to be able to spend a lot of one-on-one time with the guys, and yeah, we had a great time.
Elizabeth, Chris also ran some meditation circles for us every morning at the retreat, and there was some really great stories that came out of that too.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just great that that you guys were able to have that downtime. And I think that we're going to try as hard as we can to put that a little bit of downtime into the conference that's coming, because we did talk to Warren and some other guys and Chris, and it is nice to have some downtime to be able to just spend and talk with each other. And thank you for doing that and figuring that out. And I don't know, Martin, also, you were at the conference, or the retreat? Would you like to say something about it as well? And yeah, that worked. Did it work for you? Maybe not. Let me make you a co-host so that I can make sure that you can. Oh, there we go. If you'd like to speak, you don't have to.
Oh,
No, it didn't work. Still didn't work. That's weird.
are
Okay.
you doing the ask to unmute?
Yeah, but he's also a co-host. So normally,
Yes.
How's that go?
Thank you.
oh, okay. There you are.
First of all, um, I have nothing like Jeff's story. That was awesome, and I was there when he came back and showed it to us. That was really cool. And that was, you talk about downtime and Chris's meditation circles in the morning. That was really, really different. That was something that I really connected with. Need to get back to. Just I've been in a very hectic few months, but yeah, it's just that time of. It's the reason why we're all here. You're hanging with people who get you. Okay, there's a bunch of guys there who they're the only people outside of your spouse or children, who are really going to get you, when you talk about loss. And so that experience of just being together, we meet every week, but to actually spend more time, Jeff and I have talked many times, we're trying to get together. Unfortunately, he's a Packers fan, I'm a Bears fan, and the teams are playing in December, and it's just killing us. But it was it wasn't for me. It was that connection, the chance to really have a real conversation. It's difficult here on Zoom to talk to people, to talk in a group, larger group, just to have one-on-one, just talk about loss, talk about things, just life, just things. And with people who you're just connecting with, unfortunately, at the same level. And that was it. I mean, it was hot, it was nice. It was just nice. And, everybody gets you. That's what made it nice.
Don't you find that the subjects of conversation change a lot when you have a child who's transitioned, instead of talking about the next car, the next vacation that you're going to be?
Yeah, we're always talking about where are you in this, what, you say today was a bad day, everybody gets you, you know? Or, you know, everybody's, one of the things that's also important is to understand that we're all trying not to look backwards, but to look forwards too. And it's just been now, for me to even say forward, I wouldn't even know there was a forward without guys who were there to talk to me, you know, when losing Peter was so raw, so very raw. And, you know, I think, you know, I think it's so awesome, by the way, you know, that Jeff, you know, that you got this picture. And it wasn't just a matter of the picture existing. It was other people in your family got it. They got it. They saw it. And if I'm not mistaken, they wanted to hold back just to keep you from being hurt by it. And it's also the same thing. I think we all experience that sometimes the family too, isn't it? That, you know, our family sometimes holds back from us. And that's a big complaint we have amongst fathers, but I'm diverging. No, it was, you know, and then they brought it to you on that day, you know, and when it was there not just for you, it was there for us. And we appreciate that so much. I'm babbling a little bit. It was a very emotional time. It was a great time, and I'm a little under the weather. So if you're trying to put together a new big one, a lot of downtime, a lot of time to, you know, there are people who, you know, just gathering and breaking bread. There's a lot to be said for that.
That's beautifully said, Martin. You are not babbling. That was really interesting to listen to. And I think that it's really important
Thank you.
to understand that when Morgan transitioned for me, I just wanted to go buy an island someplace, not that I could ever do that, and have only parents who had had children pass, as well as their kids live on that island, because I really felt that that was the only people that, first of all, I liked spending time with at that time. And then second of all, that really understood. And I think that we are all in this family, this extended family, of people who get each other, which is really, really wonderful. No matter where you come from, what you do, obviously we all do things very differently. We're all so much a part of each other. And I know that it's because all of our kids are such good friends with each other as well. And I really would love for Rick, you to say a little bit more about this, maybe about the conference video as well, and what effect this has on you to be able to create these. That was a beautiful thing to have that transition between Nolan's face and Sean's face, by the way. I thought that was amazing, but I guess that wasn't exactly what Lisa was wanting.
It was pretty close. It was pretty close. But you know what? Before Rick talks, I just want to say for anyone who may be watching this later on YouTube and is interested in joining us at a Helping Parents Heal conference. In August of 2026, Elizabeth and Irene have again procured the entire hotel. So whether you know 10 of us, 100 of us, or nobody else, wherever you go, wherever you sit, the person sitting next to you is going to be perfectly comfortable to sit with, whether they're sitting with you in your silence or sitting with you in your laughter or sitting with you in your tears. There's nothing like, just like Martin said, there's nothing like gathering amongst that community. So please join us. It's going to be an incredible experience.
That was so beautifully said. Yes, everybody is family there. And I think that there are a lot of people who are very nervous about coming to these conferences all by themselves, if they are by themselves, or even with their families. And you start to feel like you're a part of the family as soon as you get there, I think.
And
So
let this be a testament too to the dads. We have so many dads, and it's so incredible.
it's
Really,
awesome to have so many dads, and just
hats off to all you guys.
yes, this is amazing that you guys have built this incredible group. And I also want to just say hats off, first of all, to Mike, but also to Andy, because Andy Bohart has, I know, stepped down to take care of his health, but also to be able to do other things. And he has built this group, this dad's group, so much in the past 6 years, and I am so grateful to him as well. But Rick, I'm sorry I cut you off. I just wanted
Oh,
to.
it's okay. Making this video is, it's hard to put into words for me because I can't, I've said it before, I can't do what mediums do. But I sense those things with signs, and I'm always telling people anything about signs when the subject comes up, excuse me, that when we try to relay the sign we got, oh, I was walking and I saw this feather, and every day it's feathers. People, oh, all right, there's feathers out there. There's birds, there's feathers. Or coins, or looking at the clock at the right time. And most of those things just they fall flat. Other people don't relate to it, but when it's a sign, we feel it. And to me, that's what makes it a sign, is something in our sixth sense that will touch us. And there's Sue texting again. I'm getting a text from Sue Frederick. Hey, Sue. So the people getting the sign, what we feel. I'm excited to watch the people because I get that, and I want to honor fathers, dads, anybody who gets those signs, and I want to try to share that with them. And something as pronounced as the one that Jeff was showing, he was so excited the next day. I got to show you this. I got to show you this. And that was an exception because I got it. I got the sign and said, oh my gosh, that one's pretty clear. And I saw an opportunity to try to be able to do that, try to be able to share that so other people can see it. Other people can feel it more.
Well,
And
Rick, can you
putting that,
show that to us again as you're talking? Because
sure, I'll share, happy to share
now
the
that I
video.
think that there are a lot of people who have come on who haven't seen your incredible video, and I'd like for them to see it. Maybe we could also show that video of how you distinguished both Sean and Austin, excuse me, both Sean and Nolan. But let's start with the one for Austin, if that's okay, so that we can
Sure.
see that again. So this was just a regular picture that Jeff's family had taken. They realized before Jeff ever saw this picture that Nolan was in this picture. They were
Austin.
afraid,
Austin.
excuse me, that Austin was. They were afraid to tell Jeff about it, Jeff and Nan, because they thought maybe it would make them sad, I think. But we all know that being able to see these incredible signs doesn't make us sad, even if we shed tears of joy. It makes us happy to see them and to see these incredible things that they're capable of.
Back here. Did the video play?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was amazing.
Okay, so this, I saw it as an opportunity to be able to, thought, gosh, that should be pretty easy to share that other people can get it and let Jeff tell the story. I just wanted him to be able to tell that story more.
Yeah, the one thing I didn't
saw-
mention, Rick, too, you can kind of see around Austin's head in the trail camera picture. If you zoom in, we enhance it, there's orbs all around his head.
There's orbs, and then as Meg said, there's an infinity sign right below him there,
Yep.
which is pretty cool as well. So thanks, Meg.
Moved my
for
mouse
pointing
on
that
it. You know what, Lisa, you can draw the pictures, or I think you should be able to draw in there, Jeff. There's a little, is there a little
Rick,
pencil in your
I
corner?
think your video, I know my screen, something within my Zoom changed it a little bit. I just want everyone to know the actual photograph of the trail cam is much clearer than it's showing on Zoom right now. It's
Okay, well, let me
strikingly
go to
clear.
that. Let me take that up if that's the case. The trail cam or the zoomed in, probably the enhanced.
It did it on all your pictures. I had something flash up that said it's resizing it.
How's that? Is that one?
Yeah, maybe you could zoom in on that a little bit.
Whoops.
It's pretty amazing. Whoops.
What am I on here? Let me see. I don't know if
Good job, Austin. And good job on Austin's team.
that
in
moving
making it
around
happen.
or is it
Yeah, there we go.
a little too
Pretty
much?
cool.
Is it, can you see the little crosshairs that these are the orbs you're talking about?
Yep.
There's
Amazing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Looks like a crown of orbs, actually.
Yeah.
It does.
So this
So,
sense
sorry.
that I was putting it together, that I felt that too. I felt it, and that's what inspired me to ask him what did he have the other picture? Because I could see what Jeff was describing, that Austin's hair has a distinct hairline. And I just got the sense, gosh, I see him in a cap and gown in spite of the hair, because I got that feeling. So it was a big deal for me, and I was happy to be able to share that with Jeff. And then when I asked him about, do you have one with cap and gown? And it turns out to be that special last picture they took as a family. So that was very special for me to be a part of that, and hope that's something that Jeff can continue to.
And
keep
it was
on.
exactly 1 year before they hiked to this place. Is that correct, Jeff? That
The
you
picture,
took the picture?
the picture in the cap and gown was 1 year prior to Austin's passing.
Oh, to Austin's passing, which makes
Yep.
perfect sense that that would be the picture that he would choose. Um, yes, and I am just so grateful that all of you guys were able to come on here and explain this to us because, again, lots of people who are here have never seen this or understood this before, but it makes this journey filled with collateral beauty. And I know that it's hard to believe that we get gifts every single day, but we totally do. Our kids are amazing. And if we're willing to listen to them and to watch what they're sending us, our lives turn into something that is actually pretty magical. In spite of the fact that we don't physically have our kids here, they are with us every single step of the way. And I feel them here tonight. And I'm grateful for all of you for being here. Is there anything else that Lisa, you wanted to say, or Jeff, or anyone who's here right now before we?
The only thing, the only thing I wanted to say, I was just hoping that this story could help someone else. I mean, that's really why I want to share it. Like Mike Edwards always said in our group, if it's like this for me, it's like this for you. So if there's someone early in the journey and they're struggling, they don't think they can get signs like this, you can. Our kids are incredible, and we're going on, almost 6 years now. So it may not happen today or tomorrow or next week, but it will happen.
That's a beautiful way to say it. It's true. If it's like this way for me, or if it's this way for Lisa, even, who's now a medium, it can be this way for all of you. And
Kathy
Lisa,
McManus is on here as well, and so is Pat, who is going to be an amazing medium working with us soon.
oh, that's very exciting. And again, so many parents actually become mediums on this journey because so many things have changed the way that we are able to perceive the world. And it's very exciting to think about the fact that that could be in your future as well, if you want that to be in your future. But in any case, I appreciate all of you being on here. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Martin and Chris as well as Joe And everyone else who was on here, if you'd like to, you can unmute and say thank you to these fabulous presenters. And then we will go ahead and say goodbye to everyone. So go ahead and unmute if you'd like to. I know that the
Thank you,
gallery.
everybody.
There we
Thank you
go.
all so much.
Thanks,
It was
everybody.
wonderful.
You.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Journey,
so
everyone.
much for tonight's
Take
meeting.
care.
Um,
Yes,
See
we're
you
so grateful.
soon.
Bye,
night.
everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.